All right, welcome back to Tin Away, the podcast where two brothers talk about NASCAR. I'm eating a Texas Roadhouse roll that's left over, so
Man,
life
I'm
is good over here.
jealous.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, we have a lot to get into today, but first, you finally watched the F1 movie. Give me your review.
It's funny. So when I was watching it, I was very split while I was watching it. And I guess if you, I don't really know what to say. I don't think I have any great comments on it. I have an opinion on it, but I feel like the storyline could have been so different, in my opinion. It was just very strange, like the route they went with it. It was as if
Yeah.
someone heard about F1 and within a week's time of watching some F1 racing highlights and terminology, they just decided to make a movie on it.
Yeah, for it to be so F1 heavy, it is the storyline they chose. It's like, yeah, you
It
get,
makes no sense. And then on
yeah.
top of that, some of the stuff they talked about immediately, and then they didn't talk about it later. And like I said, I've got so many different thoughts on it and opinions, but it was just, in my opinion, if you're an F1 fan, if you're a true F1 fan, you like the F1 racing style, you really can't like the F1 movie because it was just so bizarre.
I mean, you can because I think it can be a fun movie get past or if you get past the logistics of it. But like, yeah, it's weird. Like, there's some pretty simple things that even I'm like a casual F1 fan. I mean, like, I just keep up with the highlights and the kind of the storylines. But like, it's like even I knew that you couldn't get into F1 that easily, even with a credible past. Like I mean, there's so many like you
Yeah.
can't just. Also, I was like, he raced way like generations or decades, I should say, ago, and like,
Well, the other
yeah,
thing that confused me about it was it's like they didn't really talk a whole lot about his accident. It's like you see this accident, you're like, oh, that was Sonny. And like this was his background. This is why he got out of F1 and he comes back and it's like he's instantly still just as fast or like I hope nobody's watching this because it's gonna be a spoiler alert, but he on the formation lap, he stays behind and lags behind as like a secret that nobody knows about, and then he launches and gains like eight positions. I'm like, that's not how F1 works, like at all. Just just stupid little things like that. I think that just bothered me that it's like to if y'all are gonna really make a movie about F1, and what's crazy is that Lewis Hamilton supposedly produced it and had a huge role in it. I'm like, Lewis, how did you not shut these guys down and say like, hey, this isn't very accurate.
he
Like
may
this is
have,
not
but
this isn't true.
that's the thing. I'm sure along the way they were told this is not accurate, but it's like, yeah, by the end
Like the
result,
wreck, the wreck that what's his name, JP
oh
has.
yeah, like
It's like a spitting image of Romain Grosjean's wreck at Qatar and or Bahrain. Is it Bahrain? I think they're the same track.
sure.
But anyways, he has this wreck where he wrecks into the guardrails and he
Sorry, I
bursts
don't
into
blame you.
flames. Well, Romain Grosjean or the wreck in the movie, it looks like identical to that, and it's like he hits a um, what do they call it? The track limits. It's like we call it the turtle shell in NASCAR. I don't think it's called turtle shell, but he hits the rumble strip and he flips like 30 feet in the air.
Yeah,
I'm like, are
yeah.
you kidding? And
Why
like
not
that
run
whole
over a
scene, the whole
tire or
scene right
something?
there, that Sonny Hayes goes in pits and gets on intermediates, and then you've got JP driving on slicks, and he's going like damn near 200 at in Monza. Like, no, he would have spun out going 60 miles an hour. Like,
Well,
there's no way.
that is the part where I think they just kept writing themselves into bad situations because, like, not bad
Like you and me
situations, but
talked about, man. You could have made it like an old story where it's like he comes back to help the team in some way, like, but I don't know. Like I
I would have
just
just preferred a driver on his way out, like after of his prime, like just out going out of
he
the
could have just gone
team.
and talked to Fernando Alonso.
I mean, there's like I mean, a way you could kind of look at it is like to relate this to NASCAR, like Kyle Busch, and then like let's say somebody takes the three car and like he helps them mature and
Find some
find the
kind of
craft.
revival.
Yeah, like something like that, where I think that would have been more easier to sell. Like, and also I was like, that's not a huge deal. I don't know. It is kind of weird, like the choices that they made, and also like kind of what I was saying earlier, which was they wrote themselves into these situations that like F1 is just not a motorsport that like the spectacle of the car and the engineering aspect is just immediate, but like the technicalities of racing and like how hard it is to actually race it, and they make to try to make it look like that easy.
Yeah,
Yeah, like the
I
closest
was
you're gonna get
blown
is Max
away.
Verstappen with Red Bull, but at that, like he wasn't necessarily like carving his way through the pack every race. He was qualifying first and just running away.
I was blown away. Like, I'll be honest, right after the opening scene where he wins in Daytona and he drove for 8 hours from eighth to first. One,
Yeah,
you don't have stints for 8 hours. You have stints for like 2 to 3, 4 hours
nor
max.
do
I don't
fireworks
even,
shoot off
I
in
don't
the middle
even
of the
think,
night, I
yeah, I
think.
don't even think it's 4 hours. I think it's 2 to 3 hours stints and then you have driver swaps. I was blown away that it's like the sun is rising. He got in at midnight. And I'm like, I can already see how this movie's gonna go. Like
Yeah.
opening scene, he's sleeping in a van
And then he
behind the Winter Circle building. Like, you can't have a car parked there.
I
Like,
was fine with that. I love the flyer for Baja also.
yeah, yeah, I was kind of cool with that. I'll be dead serious. I dozed off the last like 15 minutes, but I had seen enough of the movie that I was like, you can't save this. And I know the ending scene where he races Lewis Hamilton. I've seen that in other parts of like scrolling around on Instagram, but I was
You
just
watched a
blown.
total of 15 minutes from 60 seconds reels.
I knew exactly what was going to happen. I was like, I
Yeah.
already know where this is going. But yeah, no, I was really let down by it. I think that there was some odd character development too, or like things that played into an effect early. Like he bumps into the girl when he gets out of the car. JP gets out of the car, and then the team boss is like, "Don't hurt our driver," and she's just literally doing her job. And then he runs over the air gun. I'm just like,
Yeah.
oh my God! Like, why did y'all make this
It
a
did
part
feel
of the
like
movie?
the
Everything
writers,
felt so pushed. It was so odd.
yeah. It like the production of it like Maverick, Top Gun Maverick, 'cause it's the same director, same like kind of production of it in the way of, but like flying an F-16 is so foreign to people. Like there's such a small community
Okay.
of people.
Now that we're talking about this, I wanted to bring this to your attention too and see what you think. Do you think
Sure.
fighter pilots think the same way we think about the F1 movie? They're
Well, that's
like,
what I would
there's no way.
that's kind of what
Like,
I'm getting at is they're like fighter pilots who are like, yeah, that's not really that possible. Or really possible, or that's not how it's like. Granted, like it's such an unrelatable thing for the mass population, whereas F1 has a very huge, I mean, it's the biggest motorsport right now. And so it's like if they made it like you watch Days of Thunder and you can find the exaggerations, it's just really hard to exaggerate F1 is kind of my point to
it's
like
it
for like
is
a racing
so
scene.
it
But
is so
like,
disciplined and it is so hard that like you
yeah.
really can't. I'll be honest, like when I heard they're making an F1 movie, I remember trying to think, I'm like, what kind of story could you make out of this? Because it's so hard, in my opinion, to try to find like a good like cinematic movie or a having a story in it because it is all about like if you're Max Verstappen, if you're Lando Norris, Oscar Piastri, any of these guys, like your whole life revolves around driving this car. And
Yeah.
that is it. Like there's not a whole lot of like there's gonna be drama, yes, like last year with Red Bull and Christian Horner. But I mean like an actual storyline like what they created with Sonny Hayes, I was like, I don't see this going well.
Yeah, I
I want to
could
know how the drivers felt after they watched it because I think they all got like a sneak peek or the preview the week
yeah, they all got
before.
like a special
I
premiere.
wonder
Yeah.
if they were all kind of like internally laughing, like this is really stupid. Max Verstappen straight up didn't. I don't know if he's watched it.
Yeah.
I think he's talked about how he basically was like, I'm gonna go home and work on other things and
I'm
racing
gonna
with
go
my
play The Sims.
family.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I
Yeah,
think that's
no.
hilarious.
Well, there's Lucy. Yeah, it's one of those things where it was such a kind of to me it seemed like an easier story to structure. Um, is Sam okay? Uh, but
She might
anyways,
be doing something with Ella,
it's
talking
all
to. I
good.
think they're talking to Nana.
All good. But yeah, I don't know. It just seemed like a swing and a miss to me. And for
Yeah.
probably a lot of race fans, they see right through it. The in-car camera was fun, but they didn't even really. I wish they would have used it more right at the end, like the big final lap thing, like or last lap where I mean, spoilers, Sonny's in the lead. Like, I don't know. I went up and went to the bathroom and then also like got like a refill of my drink. I was probably gone for like 5-ish minutes. And then when I came back, my friend who I was watching it with, who's not a motorsports fan, like he doesn't actively watch it at all, and even he didn't like the movie. But like, but like, yeah, I was gone for like 5 minutes. When I came back, I was like, I actually don't feel like I need to ask him what's going on because it was a very
You could just
basic
fill in the
story.
blank. Yeah, it was just dumb.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, my favorite part was he decides to go take the driver's seat, the audition, and he's just walking down pit lane. Like someone just like opened the gate and let him in, and he's walking with
Yeah, I don't know what the
duffel bags
security
on his
like
back.
is at that
I was like,
track,
"Are you
but
kidding, man?"
yeah,
But
that would never happen
I
at Charlotte.
I think for like maybe young kids, that's kind of what I try to think about the whole time. I'm like growing up, what movies caught my eye. But maybe for young kids like preteens and stuff that watch that movie, or even people that really aren't F1 fans that just like to dabble in it here and there. Maybe it was a fun movie to watch, and you get to see some of the insights to it. But at the same time, like I'm not even a diehard. Like I'm not an F1 homer, but I really enjoy watching F1, and like I immediately was just like. It was making me want to pull my hair. Like this is just so outlandish
I
at
remember
times
the
that this
community
is
being like kind of making fun of it, and like I said this to you in a text, but like I realized what it was. And I've done this with a lot of movies where it's like there's a certain realism to expect, and it's just not there, or the realism has to kind of be a bit exaggerated for drama's sake. I just kind of learned to have fun with it, and so I was able to get myself to that point, especially like with the races. I had fun with it. It was a pretty cool perspective, but like, yeah, at the end of the day, like I've always said like this is kind of like one of my rankings for movies is if I say it doesn't age well with me, meaning like whenever I think
yeah.
about it, I'm like, ugh,
In
it
5 years,
just
this is
makes me
gonna
more
feel
and more mad.
real. Like the disdain I'm gonna have for this movie in 5 years is gonna be even worse.
I'm not gonna go seek it out, really.
No,
But you know what movie has aged well with me?
Talladega
Flubber.
Nights, Flubber.
Flubber is still an amazing movie.
I haven't watched that since I was a kid.
Well, you should. And you know what else we should do is we should get into talking about the race weekend because
Let's
there's a
do it.
lot here. So,
10-minute introduction about how we didn't like the F1 movie.
yeah, again.
Gotta love it.
All right. All right. The Roval weekend is in the books. A lot of stuff happened this weekend and odd timing. Let's just jump into the truck race because that was such an odd time to race. I actually knew I probably wasn't gonna be able to watch it. My wife and I, we went for a big trip this weekend. We went to like two national parks. So we were just in no cell service. Um, and also like I didn't even realize it at the time, but like it was 3 p.m. for y'all on the East Coast and on a
It's
Friday,
3:30.
which
Yeah,
is just weird. It's a weird time to start. But yeah, I did watch the highlights and I tried to really see how the race was. Right off the bat, first off, scheme shoutouts. I like the 11 and 38. I also realized today, like when I was kind of getting my notes together, I was like, oh, I actually didn't really pay attention to the truck schemes. But I did see the 38 and a highlight of it being spun, and I was like, hey, that looks kind of nice. And the 11 truck, I mean, a mobile one, red, white, and blue scheme will always get me. But y'all's day started turn one, lap one with a rough
dude,
start. Brandon
you
Finger
can't.
sends it in there,
You can't even make it up. Like I remember we all went into the day we were talking about how we just need to be clean, smooth,
you know,
do our job,
and you
get
had a great
stage
start
points.
for it.
And like the second, I don't know why, right before we like they took the green flag and like they're not even to turn one yet. I was like, why do I feel like something's gonna happen right here? Sure enough, all of a sudden I see us get loose, get spun, and we run in the 11. And I'm like, oh my God. We didn't even make it into turn one and someone punted us. Couldn't tell who it was at the time. Just see kind of like smoke and dust over there. And I'm like, great. So then obviously we're trying to assess the damage. We realized the damage is not that bad. And then later we broke the sway bar. Something in the front suspension broke. And then
Yeah, so that didn't
we
happen in the first wreck.
no, something happened later in the race. I'm not sure if it was ill handling and Lane drove over a corner too hard and then it broke. But it definitely did not help our situation because I think our entire goal is we don't care even if the 11 won. We were just wanting to have a clean day, top five, bring it home, get stage points each
Good points,
stage,
Dave.
and leave plus 40. That was our goal. Like we literally went into it's like, hey, if we can be plus 40, we'll be in great shape for Talladega. And yeah, we made it 100 yards and got sent into the fence.
Yeah.
And then we fixed it. We were running, I think they said like top eight times. So we were going to try to finish in the top 10 um, for both stages, and then we were going to try to ride out and finish a top 10 as well.
Yeah.
And hoping maybe some people would wreck out, whatever, people would have some trouble. And right before that last restart, when we decided to stay out, we didn't come pit. Is he thought that the clutch went out. He originally thought he had a flat tire. He then thought it was the clutch, and then we realized it was something with the axle. The axle had broke, and he had no like drive off. Like he had no power,
Mm,
and so that's why he had to jump out of line right as we took the green, which I think is
yeah,
the smartest move. Although I think we're gonna end up getting wrecked and wreck other people.
yeah,
But still, it's such a crappy situation for lack of better words because we were probably going to finish inside the top 10 with two to go. I mean, we're going to be on old tires, but
yeah.
um, I don't think we were going to finish 26 where we ended up finishing at. I think we would have been okay. So,
Yeah, it was an unfortunate race. I mean, y'all are, I think I saw like -1 below the cut line, so y'all can absolutely have a good day at Talladega, it's a wild card, but like I was about to say Shane Lane is a good overall racer. And I was like when I saw that, wow, my voice is cracked. When I saw that y'all qualified second, I was like, oh wow, like I mean,
I
Zillage
thought
being
it
in the
was
pack was like
I
a
thought it was going to be exactly like Lime Rock, to be honest. I thought the 11 was probably going to be the dominant car, and then I thought we were going to run second most of the day.
yeah,
And it just we never even had a chance, which was frustrating. It's like we
yeah.
didn't even get to see what the day was going to be like. We didn't get to run any competitive pit stops. Like I think
What?
Steven had issues pulling the right rear because of the damage, so
Yeah.
it made for a crappy day all around.
Well, it's unfortunate. I mean, the two guys y'all wreck with both finished in the top 10, one getting the actual win, which let's be honest, the 11 did have stuff go his way. I mean, he didn't pit out of strategy necessarily. He didn't pit because they didn't have anything left. And they're like, all right, just stay out there. And then the final restart played to his favor. But I mean, impressive win for Corey Heim and that team just to fight all the way back and even having slow pit stops on pit road from what I heard, like just because of the damage, they couldn't really rely on a fast pit stop. And
Yeah,
so good
felt
for them to
that.
be able to fight back and take advantage of the fortune that they were going to get there on the last restart. But someone I really want to highlight though for the truck race is Brent Cruz. Had a
Yeah,
career day, really
dude went out
showed,
there and
yeah.
he was a baller. He led like however many laps, like 52,
Yeah.
53,
I mean, like again,
something like that.
he got the opportunity after y'all got, smashed into the wall, but like you and the 11 and the 9, but like the gates kind of opened, but like he maintained and they played it very well. And again, just with the way the late caution played out and the way the late restart. But I mean, if I would have been watching the truck race live, I probably would have thought like, oh, this guy might win today. And yeah, really great day for him. Trying to think of much else with the truck race. I mean, was there anything else you wanted to point out with it? Because, yeah, again, I'm only highlights
Nah.
and stuff, but
Our day was ruined basically immediately. Like it literally
yeah.
lasted 5 seconds.
Well, real quick, well, I don't think I have the points for that. As we go through the top 10, I should also pull up the points for y'all. As I said, y'all are -1. But looking at the top 10, like I said, the 17 gets a solid finish. Russell Cruz, solid finish for him. Good points day for him. Zilic surprisingly comes home fifth. I think they also got it caught up in something. Josh Bilicki, uh, driving the 41, actually brings it home sixth. And then the only other one I really want to shout out is Connor Mozak coming back with a 10th place, or not coming back, but finishing with a 10th place finish. So good for him, and he had some good runs carrying over into the sorry if there's noise in the background. My wife's making dinner. We're recording this at the time. You've already had dinner. I now have to make dinner. So, yeah, it's a party over here. Sorry, I'm trying to pull up the points real quick for the trucks, playoffs. So you, Majetski, or I say you, Riggs, Majetski, Infinger, and Honeycutt. Honeycutt had a pretty good day overall. Bad luck there at the end, but like overall, I think I know he won one stage. But anyways, I mean the points are pretty crazy for the trucks if you really look at it.
I think we're all within like 5 points of each other or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, Corey Heim is already locked in, but Tyler Ankrum, who's in second points wise for the playoffs, is only +2. I mean, and Caden Honeycutt's only -4, and
Yeah,
he's
it's pretty
right in the
close.
so that's kind of crazy.
But we do have a question. Andrew asked what happened on the last restart. Could he just not get fired off? No, Andrew, what happened? Something with the axle broke under caution, or it was braking and then just officially broke.
Yeah.
when we went back green. He thought it was the clutch or a flat tire, and then he was like, I think something's really wrong though. I can't move, and so he just got out of line so he didn't wreck everybody else.
I was wondering what happened to y'all because when I watched the highlight at first, I was like, well, how did Corey Heim win? And y'all, because Corey Heim, his truck, if I remember right, visually looked worse. Um,
Yeah,
and so I was
it
like,
was
how
the
did?
sway bar. We had no sway bar, and then we broke an axle
Hmm.
at the very end, and we just like we never were able to quite get back on the strategy we wanted to be on. And I think everybody took tires with like that last caution with two to go, three to go,
Yeah,
whatever it was. And we elected to stay out because we didn't think the risk was going to be worth us coming to getting tires and putting those on. Like looking back at it, hindsight, I'm glad we didn't because what if when we dropped the jack on the right or left side and he broke an axle, then we would have really been pissed off thinking like we shouldn't have pitted.
yeah,
So
yeah. Um, all right. Well, let's just go into the Xfinity race then because Zilic brings it home and takes the win. Big surprise at a road course, but the scheme shoutouts. I thought the nine looked really good, and I thought the two looked really good. The two had a pretty solid day for the most. Wait, I might be remembering. I kind of had the same situation for the truck race as I did with the Xfinity or the
the two was
Xfinity.
black and red instead of white and red.
Yeah, I mean, it was still a cool looking scheme. Um, but anyways, yeah, I kind of had the same experience with the Xfinity race, in the way of like I just couldn't watch it live with my situation, so. Went through the highlights, got it all back together, or got most of it together, but was able to watch like a good amount of stuff. But y'all's day, where did y'all finish? I mean, I don't
Not
expect.
sure.
I mean, how did y'all's day go at least?
Not great.
Okay. I mean, is that it?
Yeah, that we didn't like we qualified like 25th or something like that, I think,
Yeah.
and then probably finished in the same spot. Andrew's
Yeah.
saying 26th. I feel like that's where we were all day, 30th to 25th, roughly. It
Okay.
just I couldn't even tell you.
Yeah.
Um,
Unfortunate, but
was
I
a
mean,
weird day. Yeah. It was almost like last week at Kansas when we just like the car had no pace, no speed. He was saying it didn't have any drive off. It just felt like it was slow to
yeah,
get into the gas. It just had no
that's interesting. I always
exit
wondered like,
speed.
how does that even happen is my question, but
A lot of it's got to do with just a lot of Jeremy's equipment's old. I was literally talking
well,
to one
that's
of the
what I'm
sponsor
wondering.
guys about it. It's just outdated. It
Yeah.
needs to be overhauled, and it is what it is. I mean, it's part of racing. You have to update your stuff every so often, and sometimes when you get behind, it starts to show. But
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean, we
the
did everything we could. We didn't do any crazy adjustments. We weren't, crazy. We just didn't have speed. Just didn't have good pace.
the Xfinity race was pretty packed with a lot of stuff. I mean, you had like Hill who was fighting to get a spot into the next round, round of eight, and I mean he had mechanical problems at the end. I can't remember exactly what it was, but like he just dropped and he lost it all.
I
And
do remember seeing that. I couldn't hear obviously what the point situation was, but he was
yeah, I mean I
kind
think
of
he was doing
mid pack,
good.
and then next thing I knew, he was like in the 21st, 22nd, something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Yeah, it was, I mean, unfortunate for him, but I mean, that big points penalty he received earlier in the year, I mean, really cost him this spot. So he gets eliminated and but well, yeah. I also wanted to talk about Connor Mozak driving the nine, and
Yep.
he did really well. Unfortunately, also had some trouble and had to pit from the top five at the end, and kind of ruined his. Well, he came in fifth, so I mean, it didn't quite ruin his day, but like I thought he had a really impressive day going. Kind of like another Brent Cruz, just like good equipment, good opportunity, and really showed his potential. And one thing I want to shout out is the eight teams crew chief, I don't know his name, but the Hail Mary they threw at the end. I don't know if you saw this or was able to really hear about it, but like they were like, well, we have nothing to lose. We're fighting to get in. And so we're just gonna pit and hope there's a late race caution. As they're pitting, the caution comes out from like the 53 or something like that. And so it's like perfectly timed. I mean, obviously you can't time the caution, but
Nice.
like the like we see that happen a lot. People throwing Hail Marys for maybe something to happen. It's like it actually worked, and really like kind of cool to see, honestly, because it just we see that happen so much, like I said, but it never actually working this well. And so it works well for him. He ultimately finishes third, as he was struggling, and they seem to have been falling. But Yeah, I mean, a lot happened in this race. I'm trying to remember, like, a lot happened, and my memory's a bit like messed up right now because I've found that when you go to like a place like a national park and like there's so like you're very stimulated all day, it kind of ruins your NASCAR memory as well for the race you didn't get to full watch. Because I'm just like I know there's a lot that happened in the Xfinity race, and there was just a lot of there was a lot of wrecks if I remember right too. But that was kind of cool about the Roval was like the wrecks. I don't know. Like it's cool to say that like I think it's just a different pace of like you see a wreck and like here's the yellow and then it never comes out. But that also really sucks for the person that wrecks. But anyways, I guess we'll go ahead and like just look at the top 10 real quick because there is one guy that I would really
I know
want to shout.
Junior Motorsports finished like what, all in the top five?
No, it was I mean they 88 first, 8 third, 9 was fifth, the seventh
Maybe it's the
was
way they
eighth.
qualified. One of the
Maybe in the
qualifying or something like that. It was like they were all in the top five. It was something crazy that when that came on, I was like, no
yeah.
way.
Yeah, they were all in the top five. I may be missing a number. What was? Oh yeah, the one. Okay, I don't know where the one qualified, but yeah, when I'm looking at this, I imagine he might be fifth. So, uh, he
They
didn't
were
finish
balling
fifth,
out, dude.
but yeah, Austin Green in the 87 car. I don't know what
He
team
was
that
running
is.
like what? He finished second,
He
right?
qualified 10th and finished second. And he has been really good for what he has at these road courses. And he had a lot of buzz around him after this race. And it well deserved. I mean, like, I hope he's being looked at for next year by a team. I mean, he may not be able to get like the best equipment team like a JGR or a JRM kind of team, but like I think he deserves full time. He showed a lot of potential, especially on road courses this year.
I
And
think that's
Cass,
all he's driven.
yeah. Um, oh, is that all he's driven? I thought
I
he's done an
think.
oval. I feel like I remember him being at it. Sammy Smith, like I said, the Hail Mary plays for them really well, finishes third. Kaz Grala in the 24 brings it home fourth. Really good for him. And Connor Mosick fifth. Jeb Burton sixth. I would not expect Jeb Burton on a road course to be anywhere in the air of the top five or top 10. But Swalich, seventh, good for him. Sanchez, I feel like they had a struggle of a day. I feel like I just remember seeing them struggle. But anyways, shout him out for ninth place and Chandler X. Or gosh, I say Chandler literally every time. We cannot have this Christian Eckes on the podcast because I will get his name wrong. Uh,
You got to figure it out, pal. It's
I
just
gotta figure it
Christian.
out. Maybe I should get him on the pod. We should get him on the podcast so we can actually figure out his name. We can
It's
get
just
down to it.
Christian. It's not that hard.
I think I'm just gonna like really just double down on it and be like, listen, bring your birth certificate. Let's see it.
Just hold it up at all times.
And then
You're
he's
still
gonna be
gonna
like,
mess it up. You're literally
well,
looking at his name.
yeah, I literally am, but like he's gonna look at his birth certificate and then he's gonna be like, wait, it is Chandler. Oh no.
Just
I
call him
gotta
Chris Eckes.
I just call him C. Let's just keep it at C. Let's not try to
Just call
get
him Eckes. Nobody else has a name like that.
I'm gonna have to call him Chris, but then I'm like, what's up, Chan? Ah, damn it. Uh anyways, yeah, so the I for what I can remember about the Xfinity race highlights and everything I was looking up, it looked to be a pretty good race. Unfortunately, like yeah, my memory is not serving me well right now, but I remember kind of enjoying what I was seeing. But anyways, the Cup race I actually watched live. I watched it while driving on the way home, had it on. Um, yeah, and I'll be honest, I actually liked this Roval race. I can't say
This was
that.
a solid Roval race. I said the same thing. I was like, this was a pretty good one. I think a lot of guys got to lead laps. It wasn't a SVG blowout win,
Yeah,
kind of like Mexico, what we talked about earlier today. It was a good race, very good finish. The Ross Chastain. I looked up and when I saw it was one to go, I totally forgot that Ross was like half a track behind. So I'm
yeah,
sitting there thinking like, oh man,
it was
Ross is
kind of
gonna get in. And then here he comes out of like the backstretch chicane. I'm like, no, he's got
he
another
still got
whole
to go.
lap to
Yeah.
do. And then the 11 got by him, the 34 got by him, I think with two to go.
Well, the
And I was like,
11
why
or
is
uh,
I somehow missed like the last like 20 laps until it got to be like lap
that's a long
five to
time.
go or something like that.
Yeah.
And then when I checked in, I saw that Ross was like +7 over Joe, and I'm like, oh, wow.
Well,
I
that was
guess
another Hail Mary strategy was in the 22 just pit because they were not good on tires and they were like, well, we have nothing else to lose, so they did it. Works out well for them. Shocker, the 22.
Literally the last corner.
Yeah,
It was the last corner and he had to make up. It was like tied when I think the 22 came out of that backstretch chicane or
yeah.
something like that. And Ross is over like punting the 11 at the finish line. And then here
Well,
comes the 41 and whoever, and then Joey.
yeah.
And I was
Well, there
like,
was a lot of similarities to, I think, the last, I want to say at Martinsville when he did the Hell Nail. And I think somebody pointed out that Bush and Keselowski finished like in the last two spots. And that happened again this week. And also, he had to run into Denny
this,
Hamlin.
I was about to
Uh,
say he ran up to Denny Hamlin's door at
yeah,
Martinsville. And this one he wrecked Denny.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, he did go door to door with him, but just in reverse.
yeah,
Um,
that was hilarious. Because once I
yeah.
saw them spin, I'm like, oh, Ross, you're screwed. You got to put it in reverse. And the second I
Well,
said it, it was like you see the tire spinning and
there
he's
was
in
also the
reverse.
I mean, there's a very good slow motion video that they have where the 22's passing him and Ross is going with
Yeah,
him.
yeah, yeah. It's like
And I was like,
over the
it
guy
looks like
waving the
Martinsville
checkered
again.
flag. Yeah, he's like
Yeah.
over. That was awesome.
Yeah,
The only thing
Ross.
different was is Ross at Martinsville. It worked. It got him into
Yeah.
the championship. For this one, it didn't.
There was no turn to ride the wall with. It would have been really funny seeing him come out of 3 and 4 just on the wall, not even paying attention to the
I
chicane.
think Sam said it looked like something that Lightning McQueen would have done. And I'm like, that's really true.
Yeah, it's something I would have done in a video game too. Except I could, I would have just restarted. But real quick with the scheme shout outs. Oh wow, I didn't. Anyway, scheme shout outs. I liked the 8 car. Again, talk about like just first corner runs it right into the wall, ruins their toe link. Just I like at this point, every time I see that happen to Bush, I just kind of feel bad. If this was me like 3 years ago, I'd be like, yeah, woo. Now I'm like, oh man, like
I can
just
feel for you, buddy.
I just want you to have a good day, you know?
Yeah,
I like the 24 instead of the blue confetti, it was the red. And then the 45 looked pretty good. I mean, I could do an honorable mention of the 20, but I wish it was just more leopard. That kid who designed it should have done a better job.
I
Hot
thought it was a
take,
snake.
I don't know what it was. Exactly.
I think it
That's
was
the
a
thing.
snake.
You can't just draw black spots on a car and call it a
It's a
scheme, all
tiger
right?
snake. That's what it
Yeah.
looked like to me.
But no, I actually did like the 20, but yeah, I like those three more. As we already mentioned, Bush and like a lot of the Ross drama. Yeah, to finish out the Ross stuff because Logano had like a quiet race essentially. Like he was just being Logano on a road course. Ross mentally driver mistakes killed his race today. I mean, the first one on the pit road just completely missing the corner, which is weird, but yeah, and then just I think it was like a speeding penalty later on. So really, I mean, a speeding penalty from putting it in the wrong gear and yeah, so just two driver mistakes, and he was very mature about it after, and he owned up to it, and he was like, at least, what is nice that it was my mistakes, not the. He's like, it's something I just have to deal with. I let people down, and anyways, he took it very well, but um, yeah, I don't know. It's unfortunate that he made those mistakes and it's also I there's probably a lot of people like, oh dang it, you did this for Logano, which was really funny. Right before the race started, we had stopped at a gas station to get gas, and there's a guy wearing a Logano shirt, and I wanted to go up to him and be like, hey man, nice shirt, but like I'm not a Logano fan, but like anytime I just see a NASCAR shirt out in the wild, I just want to say something. Like literally, we were on a hike and I saw a kid wearing a Dale Jr. shirt, and I was like, I wish I would have said something. And so now I'm like, I wish I would have talked to the guy and just maybe had a quick chat about, oh, you think he's gonna get through? I don't know. And like, oh man, I wish I would have done it now. But yeah, let's move on from the Ross stuff because yeah, there'll be a lot of attention for him. We've kind of already talked about everything. But anyways, I mean, SVG dominates. No, I won't say he dominates. This was not his most dominant road course win. He definitely was challenged at times, especially on takeoffs. His car was not great on takeoffs. It's always funny to hear SVG complain about his car because I'm like, listen, guy, like you don't need to be complaining.
We know you're about to take off
Yeah, it's
and
like
just mow them all down.
he's like, I have no drive off speed. SVG, you're 14 seconds ahead. Calm down. Like you
Yeah.
could stop, take a breath, and then keep going. All right, so chill out
Right.
for a second. But like he won by what was it, 15, 17 seconds? And I won't say that like I think I told you about this. It didn't feel like Mexico City if that's where he won by like 17 seconds because it was the 20 and the 5 both pitting at the end hoping for that maybe that late race caution and to be on better tires and maybe just a better position but like um so like it was more of them playing catch up rather than just losing time overall. I don't
Yeah.
know how far Larson would have fallen if he had never pitted at the end, but uh, to kind of continue on Larson though on this thread, he genuinely passed SVG at one point, and then later on when SVG was going to pass him, and he dove it into that hairpin turn. I don't know the number, but like, and then he got aggressive back to SVG. That was kind of fun to watch. Uh,
Yeah.
it was really fun for him to be like, "Hey, stop that." And I can't remember who pointed it out. It was like it was more maybe more just like insulting that SVG felt like he had to dive bomb Larson because it was like, "Why are you doing this? You know you're probably going to pass me. You can probably pass me really clean." And I like that Elliot or not Elliot, but Larson was like, "No, give me that back and do that again." And so he raced really hard. I think Larson did a really good job at being just aggressive enough to get a spot back without wrecking SVG. Because I think he did say in an interview that he wasn't trying to wreck him or mess up his day. He was more like, no, give me that back. And yeah, then the next lap, that following lap or whatever, SVG just cleanly takes it and drives off for a while. But Larson and Bell were the two that kept SVG any sort of honest the whole time. And yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to this battle that is SVG versus the world of NASCAR because, especially on a road course, because I mean, he has a good fan base. He's a very likable guy. I like him, but it is like every time we go to a road course right now, there is a spoiled part of it that's like, okay, well, who's going to come in second? Um, and how far is SVG going to win? And to hear people like, Larson was being fed information about SVG's uh driving performance and like where he was braking and how he was doing it. But ultimately, like the techniques that SVG has of the heel toe and somehow using the clutch and all whatever, from what I'm understanding, it's just he's done it his whole career. And that's the thing about SVG that's so impressive but frustrating to watch because he'll dominate. Where you're like, I have to respect this because it's just him and his craft and this craft that he developed for years. And so I'm trying to be positive about it without being an annoyed fan because it is something that 10 years from now, when SVG's hope, I would imagine he's not going to be racing, we're going to look back on and be like, that was impressive. Like,
Yeah.
it genuinely showed, like, I feel like I always knew NASCAR was not a top tier, like, none of the drivers were like top tier, full-time drivers were top tier road course racers. Uh, and so to have somebody that it only does that in a car, kind of like a NASCAR, to come in here and show where the gap is nice. And I do hope that like it does, and it is bettering these drivers. But I don't know, SVG's long run speed, the way he can maintain his equipment is something to really be appreciative of in this moment. Yeah, I'm trying to stay positive on it without being too annoyed. But yeah. Looking at some playoff drivers though, this 77 spun in stage two into the two and kind of damaging his toe league for the and kind of just ruining his day overall. Um I feel bad for Austin Cindric. I know you know him. But yeah, he was in a must-win situation and just did not have a good day at all, even if it wasn't in a must-win. But
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, there was a lot that was going on, and we talked about the battle. But I mean, one person I think I had picked Reddit to win, and to see him get the pole, I was excited about that. I was like, oh, this is a great start for him. But yeah, they tried to go kind of off strategy initially. It seemed like that was kind of their pivot, and they just never came back. He finished 10th, but yeah, just never came back into the picture. I mean, the 5 and the 20 really were the two that moved forward. I mean, even Chris Buescher and Michael McDowell stayed between. I mean, they qualified fifth and finished fourth, qualified sixth and finished fifth. So I mean, they finished where they kind of started. But yeah, there was a lot in the way of playoffs that came through here and was really interesting to watch. I mean, the 23 was a no-show today, which kind of was to
That
be
wasn't a
expected.
surprise.
Was or wasn't?
Wasn't.
I mean, yeah, he had a better he's had fine results or better results, I should say, at the Roval in the past years from what I was hearing. But yeah, I think this was a I don't know. This was not 23XI's year at all. There could be multiple factors to it, but honestly, like the 45 was so inconsistent. I still look forward to the regular or the rest of the season with the 23 because Bubba's having a career year in a lot of ways, and I'm hoping it can carry into next year because I would like to see Bubba with this momentum starting the year, and like to see that. So, and hopefully the two can turn something around. Because for some reason that is the I would call it the fourth Penske car right now. So yeah. But I guess there's not too much else to talk about with the race. I mean, to look at the top 10 though, I mean, there's some interesting names outside of the top five that I already said. McDowell getting a fifth place finish. Good for him. Ryan Preece comes home sixth. He started 29th. That's a
Nice.
good day, a quiet day. I don't remember ever seeing his car, maybe in a wide shot, but brings home the Tostitos to the sixth. Daniel Suarez starts 20th, finishes seventh. Chase Elliott had a
Quiet day.
overall quiet day, but like just slowly progressed, slowly progressed, slowly progressed. And yeah, AJ Allmendinger keeps it in the top 10 as well. And then yeah, I mentioned Reddick who's in 10th, but let's get into just real quick predictions for next week at Las Vegas. It's just going to be the Xfinity and Cup race.
Yep.
So, who do you have for Xfinity? Who's your wild card for Xfinity outside of the 51? Which is a good, it seems like it's a good track setup for the 51, right? Like Vegas is a track that
I'm gonna
norm
go wild card for me will be I'm gonna go with the two.
the two. Oh, so Jesse
Jesse
Love.
Love. I feel like he
Okay.
could snatch a win. And
Yeah.
then for the cup race,
Yeah. This is such a like it's kind of makes me look forward to Vegas. I mean, I already like Vegas, but like it's kind of a fun race because it feels like the second most important race at the end of the season because I mean, there's Phoenix obviously that you want to win, but Vegas really sets you up to just relax. I mean, we saw Logano relax.
if I pick,
Didn't really work out for Larson a couple years
I'm gonna
ago.
go with the 24. I think the 24 finds some speed and
Yeah.
gets back into victory lane. I'm gonna go with the
Well,
24.
that makes it interesting. So I'll go through my picks real quick. Xfinity, I'm going to say Allgaier.
Okay.
I think he won it back in the spring or something. Maybe he qualified first. I was looking at the stats earlier. Cup, I'm gonna go Larson. I think they have good momentum back, and they did pretty well. They had a good car at Kansas. It didn't quite show, and so I'm wondering what their Vegas speed will be like. Um,
Okay.
so I have some hope there. This is not just me being a fan. This is me just looking at it, seeing it. But I could also see Byron. Byron's just someone who can turn it on one week and that
Any
team can
given
turn around.
moment, just
Yeah.
kind of find it.
But I mean, I mean, Logano could come here and win. That could happen. But we'll get into a round of eight eliminations. This one is honestly hard. I don't have my fourth elimination yet, but I have Byron being eliminated, which is interesting because if he does win, obviously it messes up my prediction, but he is too inconsistent for me to be any sort of confident in.
Okay.
Um, to me, he is in a must win in the way of consistency.
He's got to win one of these races to get to
It's-
Phoenix, is
yeah,
what you're
and
saying.
yeah,
Okay.
and yeah, he didn't do, if I remember right, he wasn't anywhere competitive at Kansas. So I'm like, given
I think he
previous,
finished like ninth, but he had to make
but
a
his
late
day
race pit
wasn't
stop, right?
anything crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
If I also remember right, like, I don't think this past or the fall Darlington race was anything impressive for him as well. Could be talking, could be thinking of the wrong thing. But anyways, do you have your eliminations?
I'm gonna go with I can go with my final four. Who's gonna advance? I'll go with Denny,
Your
the
final fours.
5,
Okay.
the 24, because if he wins this weekend,
Yeah.
and then I would pick. Probably go. It's gonna be either be Christopher Bell or Blaney. I kind of want to see Christopher Bell.
I do too, but for the reason of like,
You
will it,
can't you can't say a Penske car is not gonna make it though. That's the thing.
well, no, and so I want to see the 20 get back in there, particularly because he's great in the spring race, but this fall Phoenix race has haunted him in a way. Because I mean,
Right.
what last year was it that he?
He should have won in the 22 like ran a fuel mileage strategy race.
No, 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 that's Vegas.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
I'm talking about Phoenix. At Phoenix,
Oh,
if the
Phoenix, yes,
20
it's
gets
he's
into
had
the
some
final
terrible
four.
luck.
Yeah, terrible luck at a track he's really good at. And so I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
if he gets into the final four again, he would honestly might be my number one pick. But I'm also like, the luck, terrible luck has followed him. And so he hasn't really even gotten a shot to like look at it. But the fall Phoenix race is weirdly not as it doesn't translate as much from the spring. But I'll go ahead and get into my round of eliminations. I said Byron. I have Logano. And this is where it kind of gets tough because I feel like every other driver has a good consistency to them.
right.
Like Elliott's been consistent, Logano, or not, no, sorry, you said Logano, but like the 12 is consistent, the 11's consistent, the 5 has gotten more consistent, the 19 is consistent.
Oh
And
yeah, Briscoe's the other one that was on the outside looking in.
yeah.
Hmm.
And so even I think that I don't know if I straight up
I'm gonna
said,
take back my pick really quick. I'm gonna say
okay,
that the 19 ends up. I'm gonna say the 24 doesn't win this weekend.
yeah,
I'm gonna say the 19 does,
that's a good
so he
pick.
gets locked in for Phoenix. So 19's locked in, and I have Joey or Denny and Chase advancing, and then Chase Briscoe because he wins. The 5 and the 12. That would be my final four.
I do too.
Chase Briscoe, Denny Hamlin, Kyle Larson, and Ryan Blaney.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say we're gonna hear a scream in a second. So hold on. I'm gonna say Chase Elliott gets eliminated in the round of eight. There
Just
hasn't been a there
looking at
hasn't
her
been a
for
knife thrown
something.
yet. You just see the cast iron come in. I'm gonna say
Ding.
yeah, the eliminations for me. I'm gonna also go with Chase Briscoe. It's not an easy pick at
He
all,
gets
but
eliminated.
yeah,
Okay.
they've been a little, I don't know. The 20 has just been an odd year, but I also feel like they're a team that can turn it on at the end, especially with a place like Vegas plays into their
I feel like the only
wheelhouse.
team truly in this last round, like the round of eight, that's been the most inconsistent is the 22.
Yeah, but yeah, it's you're dealing with a team who, I mean, give a lot of
They
credit to
somehow
Paul Roof.
always find a way to be there.
I was thinking about this earlier. Paul Wolf and Joey Logano are a dangerous team in the way of it almost reminds me of like a Jimmy and Chad. Like I feel like the chemistry between them and the trust that they have is just top tier on the way that Paul Wolf can create a strategy and I feel like translate it to Joey and almost like make the strategy around how Joey can adjust. I feel like Joey's really good if Paul Wolf was like, "Hey, run 60% throttle or between 60 to 70% throttle for 10 laps to save on this much fuel." Like Joey's just can do it. He's that disciplined driver that can do it and like he's just I think he's an all-around besides road courses, all-around solid driver. And
Yeah.
he's definitely Hall of Famer. I mean, absolutely. And I think he's maybe this day and age a bit underappreciated, but like I will say statistically he doesn't show up. But I think overall, like Denny, in the way of drivers that have come from a significant amount of previous generation racing, uh, Denny Hamlin has adjusted fantastically. Uh, whereas someone like Bush or Logano hasn't. I think I look at and Brad Keselowski, I look at those four as kind of those all in the same system. But yeah, I said it. Byron, Chase Elliott, Chase Briscoe, Logano are my four eliminations. So that leaves
Okay.
11, 12, 5, and 20 for the ones getting in. So
I like it. I'm actually gonna go over here and look at the standings again too. I want to see what the buffer is.
yeah, it's
It's not crazy.
I mean the 22 is about the only one that's in like close territory of must win, but he again, you can't count him out, unfortunately. But I mean, let's appreciate it. I'm trying to be more positive about like
I mean, the
NASCAR.
22's minus 24 points.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's kind of a lot. That's just enough to be your. You gotta like
I
get a lot
wouldn't
of
be.
stage points every
Yeah,
race. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Briscoe, Kyle Larson, Ryan Blaney, Denny Hamlin make my final four.
yeah,
I say that Chase Elliott, Joey Logano, and William Byron
yeah.
don't make it. But
It's
we'll see.
honestly it's a good year for the playoffs. I will say, like when I look at this top eight right now, you can maybe make an argument for the 22, absolutely. But I think the top seven at least, these have been the most consistent teams throughout the year. And none of them are undeserving. So yeah, I was kind of looking at this with the Roval because I felt like the Roval is like the peak of what NASCAR wants at this point in the playoffs, or at that point in the playoffs, is like this chaotic race with unpredictability, with a very close, tight battle for points position and all that, and like a big throw, like another. You put Chastain in that situation, he's going to throw the melon every time. Uh,
Yeah.
that's not in the way of winning, but
I mean, what's crazy too is I feel like these eight, all of them to some degree, the 22 is like the only one I could say that's not really, it's the least consistent. There's seven of the eight I think are all, if any of those seven besides Logano, I don't mean that as a dig at Logano.
no, you
If
do. You're
if the
kind of
top
biased.
seven were to win the championship, I feel like there's a leg to stand on that. There's a reason why.
Yeah, there hasn't been a
Like
blood.
Chase Elliott's been very consistent all year. Chase Briscoe's been very consistent the second half of the year with a brand new team.
Yeah,
Christopher Bell's won three in a row early in the year, has four total wins. William Byron was really good at the beginning of the year, has fallen off and been inconsistent,
yeah,
but it is still not bad. Kyle Larson is Kyle Larson. Ryan Blaney's been incredibly consistent. Denny Hamlin's probably arguably the one that deserves it the most if
yeah.
you were to go and look at stats.
Statistically, yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
I
That's
really
a.
don't have a problem with any of this top seven. Logano's the only one that I would say if he wins it again somehow, there's going to be so much heat on NASCAR.
We talked about it last year, where it's just like if Logano wins it this year, it's hard to call that a superstar in a way, because again, you're just looking at
This
statistics.
format is so flawed if he somehow
Yeah,
wins.
I mean, it's
You
like
have you have a
it's
guy that has five wins, two guys that have three wins, one guy that has four wins, and then the guy who has one win. If he somehow only wins like say one race in the round of eight, and then he wins Phoenix,
yeah,
he somehow suddenly like wins two races within the last four, and he's a champion. Like
yeah.
that's nuts, but that's the
It,
format.
I don't know how to compare it to like an NFL version, but it's like it's not if the Patriots like back in the day or the Chiefs recently were going like 15-1 for the season. It's like that's superstar.
And then a team that goes like 7-8 that barely
Yeah,
makes the playoffs somehow
that
wins.
just
Like that's
yeah gets
crazy.
that yeah. And so it's kind of like that. And here's what I'm going to try and be positive. I'm been trying to be more positive about just the NASCAR series because the fan base can get very negative about everything very quickly. Can make just everything seem like it sucks. So that's why it's like when we see something like SVG, we should be appreciative that like we're seeing this talent. Something like the Roval, it was a good race
Yeah,
overall.
solid.
The drama that comes from it with the Chastain and Logano stuff, to me, it's dramatic, sure, for the moment, but like it's a bit cheap in the way that it's like it really just depended on this race for this scenario, really. I mean, yes, there's an argument for what was before and everything, but like I still feel like this scenario can work in a different format. This kind of drama will come from a different format and probably feel more of a storyline than just it felt like a storyline for this race and that's it. Like this has
Yeah.
not been a Chastain versus Logano for three races. This was
I
Chastain
also
versus
like that everybody overall was very good in their interviews. It wasn't any negativity and stuff
yeah.
afterwards. It wasn't like bashing something.
I
So
just
that
I
was
just
also a nice breath of fresh air. Seeing like
yeah.
Danny was talking about like, oh, I didn't realize that it was that close.
Well, Denny said he
And
would have
then
changed his way
he would
of
have done something different. And then Logano was just happy Logano. And then Ross
yeah.
is bummed, but Ross is all overall good sport. Like when he
Yeah.
loses, he wasn't just pissed off and mad and frustrated whining. He was just like typical Ross. Like he was somber, but at the same time, he was just like, yeah, it just wasn't our day. But it goes back to that, what I was just saying a second ago, the top eight, but mainly the top seven. Those are the most deserving guys to be
Yeah.
in the next round. So like Ross won the 600. and he won it by leading the last 8 laps or
Yeah.
7 laps, something like that. Like,
I mean, it was a
yeah,
well-deserved win coming from the back, but yeah, overall, I agree with you. Like Ross's win wasn't anything incredible. Uh, I mean, actually, sorry, I should say it was incredible that he won it, but like it wasn't like a dominant win. Um,
yeah,
but yeah, like I was saying, the fan base needs to be a bit more positive about the good, and less so like zeroing in on the negative, really, because we can still expect change and want change, but we can still appreciate the good when it's here. And even if we don't like the system, it's like, wow, that was a fun race. It was fun to watch the dominant car get challenged at times and have some issues and be troubled. And it was fun to watch two drivers have to uh, kind of race to make their season more worth it. But yeah, I don't know. I hope NASCAR is not sitting there like, see, told you. I hope they go back to this week and be like, okay, we had a good race, but like overall, like the fan base is still not happy. That's the thing. Yeah. For sports fans, we can all get bitter really quickly and see only the bad, but appreciate the good. Uh, that will do it for this week. Looking forward to Las Vegas. Genuinely looking forward to it. I wish we drove through Las Vegas on our way out to Zion, and I joked with my wife. I was like, "What if we just stayed here for like a week and a half?"
I was like, I got a race I can catch.
I mean, Blake can get us tickets.
Yep.
So I wish I could have got. I thought about. I'm not gonna be able to go to a race probably for the rest of the season. So I've come to terms with that. But yeah, looking forward to trying to go to some next year. But yeah, good race overall. Looking forward to who can win Las Vegas and cruise to Phoenix. But overall, good luck at Vegas, you and the 51 team, and we'll see the Lane Riggs at Talladega.
That's
So
right.
yeah.
Yep.
So if you
Another
haven't in a
solid
while,
episode.
yeah. If you haven't yet or in a while, you should watch Flubber. That's my only recommendation.
Right.
So yeah, go watch
Good
Flubber.
stuff, man. Well,
All right.
thanks, Owen. I'll catch you later, man.
10 away. 5,